Micron stock, ticker symbol MU, is up almost 30% year to date, almost 70% in 1 year, almost 200% in 3 years, and almost 300% in 5 years. So the question remains, should you still buy Micron stock in 2018? Let's find out.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Yeah.
What's up everyone, my name is Ale and welcome to My World of Finance. Today we're going to be talking about Micron stock, which is a stock that was actually requested by a subscriber. So if you want to see me review a specific stock, all you got to do is subscribe and leave a comment down below. Let me know which stock you want to see me review. Also, don't forget to leave a comment letting me know if you're bullish, bearish, or neutral on Micron stock, and I'll tally up the results and I'll have that for you guys in a future video for Ale's World Consensus. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, starting with the company, their business, and stock. They operate in the electronic technology sector as part of the semiconductors industry with a market cap of $61.5 billion and a stock price of around $53 a share at the time of this recording. Under the company description, it says, Micron Technology Incorporated engages in the designs and building of semiconductor memory and storage technologies. It operates through the following segments: Compute and Networking Business Unit, Storage Business Unit, Mobile Business Unit, and Embedded Business Unit. The Compute and Networking Business Unit segments include memory products sold into compute, networking, graphics, and cloud server markets. The Storage Business Unit segment comprises memory and storage products into enterprise, client, cloud, and removable storage. The Mobile Business Unit segment consists of memory products sold into smartphone, tablet, and other mobile device markets. And the Embedded Business Unit segment involves the memory products sold into automotive, industrial, connected home, and consumer electronic markets. Okay, now let's start with some of the pros before we move on to the cons and then finish up with the conclusion on the stock. Now, given Micron's amazing stock performance in terms of price, you would think that they would have a pretty high PE ratio, but in their industry, they actually have one of the lowest PE ratios, and they're actually oftentimes considered a very cheap stock given their very reasonable PE ratio of around 6.4. They've also had positive EPS surprise in the last 4 quarters, although the last 2 have been significantly less than the previous. But their EPS overall has been trending upwards, although it is projected to be trending downward in the future. Their income statement has also been looking absolutely fantastic. Every single quarter, we've seen increase in revenue, earnings, profit, net income. This last quarter in particular, we saw most of those numbers almost double year over year. And so this is a sign that the company is having a fantastic year and performing extremely well. And even looking at their balance sheet, I'm actually decently impressed. We're talking about cash being reported at around $7 billion, long-term debt being lower than that at around $6 billion, although accounts payable and short-term debt would certainly add to that. But in a stock market where I continuously see poor balance sheets on overpriced stocks, MU's balance sheet is very refreshing and pretty impressive. And that shouldn't really be taken lightly, because we know that when we have a strong balance sheet, we are much more likely to see share buybacks. And so if we experience that with Micron, we could definitely see their EPS numbers and their PE ratio improve in the future, which would definitely help the stock. Okay, now I'm actually going to transition into the cons section, and I know that I didn't mention any of the things that the company does or what kind of memory they sell into which markets, but I'm actually going to kind of mix that in with the cons because it just makes it a little easier that way. So just give me a second, I'll kind of explain everything that they do and where they're operating. But in terms of their financials, I just gave you all their financials. They're doing very well, and with those really strong financials, you would expect their stock price to be doing very well, maybe even better than how they've been doing recently. In fact, when you look at the previous week right over here, you can see that they've been down almost 10% in the last week alone. Now, a couple reasons for this and a couple reasons why the stock hasn't really flown too high just yet is because of the looming trade war with China. There's a lot of uncertainty there, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. And another concern is that analysts are skeptical of the memory market, predicting a correction heading into next year. You see, what sometimes happens is that when you have a lot of demand, and in this case we're talking about the memory market, Micron operating in NAND and DRAM technology, and so when you have a lot of demand in the memory market, we can sometimes end up with oversupply. A lot of these companies, we're talking Micron, some of their competitors like SK, Hynix and Samsung and other competitors as well, they're ramping up production like crazy. And so if we end up having an oversupply, as everyone's kind of trying to fill this void and everybody's trying to profit from it as much as they can, we can end up with an oversupply heading into next year, and then that can lead to a crash later on. And the reason why analysts are very skeptical and very worried right now is because Micron and some of its competitors, like I just mentioned, they're investing billions of dollars. We're talking billions of dollars to create new factories or upgrade existing factories to vastly ramp up production. And so we're gonna see huge increases in production heading into next year. But if you ask me for my opinion on this, I'm just not quite sure how I feel yet. Yes, we are seeing smartphone sales mature and in some cases even decline, but when you look at things like artificial intelligence, augmented reality, autonomous driving, maybe even crypto mining, but certainly high resolution imaging, high performance gaming, those are markets that I don't really see slowing down in the near future. I actually think that there's a lot of growth there. So I'm not quite as convinced as everyone else that we're going to see such a horrible supply to demand ratio in the near future. And to speak a little bit further on that, we know that Micron has announced that they have already started mass production of their GDDR6 memory, which can be used in NVIDIA and AMD GPUs, can also be used by AMD's upcoming 7nm Vega and 7nm Navi. By the way, Navi is also heavily rumored to be used by the upcoming next generation gaming consoles like the PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2, and we could actually expect those as soon as 2020, maybe even 2019. So that's actually some more supply there, or I'm sorry, some more demand there that is actually not too far off at all. But even if you ignore all of those supply and demand concerns, you still have the looming threat of a possible trade war between the US and China. And while there is a lot of uncertainty there and we don't know exactly how it would play out and exactly how it would affect Micron, most analysts do agree that it would probably affect Micron in a very negative way, as a lot of their business is actually done with China. However, they do also predict that it wouldn't affect their cloud segment too much, which is a good thing because their cloud computing DRAM revenue was actually up over 33% in the last quarter. And so that, coupled with their pretty strong balance sheet, could actually help them through a lot of this uncertainty. But there's just a lot that we still have to see how it plays out. And so we're just left with a lot of uncertainty, which actually leads me to my conclusion. While I think that Micron is at a very fair value, at a great price, generally considered a very cheap stock, given its income statement, its great performance, great management that continuously improves their balance sheet, I'm just left feeling like there's too much uncertainty at this moment for me to open up a large position with Micron. And so I'm left feeling a little more neutral than I otherwise would be. Now, I know that a lot of you are very bullish on Micron, and that's totally fine. I like a lot of the things that I see with Micron. I mentioned a lot of pros with Micron actually, and even when I was going through the cons, there was actually a lot of pros mixed in there as well. So I definitely like Micron, but I just feel that there's too much uncertainty surrounding the stock. And in a market where stocks are incredibly overpriced, I feel like I have to be cautious with my investments. I just can't jump into Micron just quite yet. I feel like I have to take a step back, let some of these things play out, maybe do a little more research, feel a little more confident with Micron, and then maybe I can open up a position. But for right now, I just feel like I need to wait a little bit. But I will definitely keep you guys updated on Micron, so make sure you're subscribed. It's definitely a stock that I track all the time, and I'm sure that I will continuously have more opinions on Micron, so I'll definitely make more videos and keep you guys updated. But anyways, it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what you guys think. So please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you're bullish, bearish, or neutral on Micron stock, and if you have any opinions on them, I'd love to hear them. There's so much to talk about. I had to kind of shrink everything down to make this a watchable video, but I know that there are tons of things that you could talk about with Micron, so I'd love to hear about them. Make sure you leave comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, all you have to do is hit the like button. It means the world to me. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful day, and you take care. Bye.